October 22nd, 2025. Forgiveness and friction. Rebecca reaches out to Michelle hoping to earn forgiveness for what happened at the white party. Michelle agrees to meet her, but only after a tense pre-conversation with Cara, who warns her not to fall for Rebecca's soft voice and big eyes. Michelle felt a heavy weight of guilt in her stomach as she sat across from Rebecca. She was torn between loyalty to her friends and the desire to hear Rebecca's side of the story. "I'm so sorry," Rebecca said, her voice soft and shaky. "I never wanted any of this to happen. I didn't know what I was thinking." Michelle took a deep breath, trying to steady her emotions. She wanted to be fair to hear Rebecca out, but the anger was still there, simmering beneath the surface. "You do realize how much you've hurt us, right?" she asked, her voice tinged with a mix of hurt and frustration. "We trusted you. We invited you into our lives, gave you chances, and you just threw it all away." Rebecca fidgeted restlessly. The tension in the air was palpable, and the weight of her past actions pressed heavily on her shoulders. "You're right," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I deserve your anger. I've made a mess of things, time and time again." Rebecca stares at Michelle, blinking hard. Her jaw tightens, but she doesn't look away. Michelle shakes her head. "I didn't come here to play nice. I came to see if you've changed. If you still think blowing things up makes you interesting, then there's nothing left to say." Rebecca wanted to argue back to justify her actions and defend her own pain. "You want real? Fine," she said through gritted teeth. "I was jealous, okay? Is that what you wanted to hear? Jealous, lonely, and scared." "Oh, honey," Michelle placed her hand on her forehead, sighing. "You weren't angry at Marnie for what she did. You were hurt that Don didn't choose you. And instead of owning that, you humiliated her in front of everyone at Cara's party. It was heartbreaking to watch." Rebecca's cheeks flamed with embarrassment at Michelle's words. "So what then?" she shot back defensively, feeling cornered. "I'm just a jealous, insecure mess who can't handle rejection? Is that all you see me as now?" Michelle ignored her response. "Oh, come on. Don't start with the victim routine. I'm not doing this, Rebecca. You know exactly what you did, and now you're just layering excuses on top of the mess. The way you acted at Cara's birthday party, it was out of line. I didn't want to kick you out, but it was the only way to shut it down." Michelle pursed her lips, trying to calm her anger. "Listen, you knew what you were doing. You weren't confused. You made a choice to push people away, to stir up a fight, and now you're asking for grace like it's owed to you. If you didn't want to be isolated, maybe you should have considered the fallout before you lit the match. Cara throws the classiest of all parties until you showed up to crash it. You made us all look like white trash." Rebecca's jaw tightened, but her voice wavered. "So that's how it ends? One mistake too many and I'm just disposable?" Michelle sighed loudly, realizing that this was a bad idea. "Intent doesn't erase impact. You want forgiveness? Start by owning the fucking damage." Rebecca shifted, her voice low and uneven. "I know I messed up," she said. "I'm not asking you to forget it. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what to say or to do to make things right with you and Cara." She glanced at Michelle, searching her face for something, anything, that might soften the blow. "I wish I could undo it. I really do. But I don't even know where to start." Michelle chuckled weakly. "You can start by apologizing, and not just to me, but Cara and Liz as well. We're not in high school, Rebecca, and we're definitely not living in your world of walk off and forget about it. We are adults, so therefore we are going to handle this situation like adults. You apologize, and then Cara will make a decision. Second and third chances are deserved, not handed out like candy." Rebecca flinched at Michelle's sudden outburst. She felt trapped and vulnerable, her defiance crumbling with every word. "I get it, all right? I messed up. Big time," she murmured. Michelle lowered her tone. "Don't give me that. But I'm still confused about how you even found out about the white party. You weren't invited, and it wasn't like Cara spread the word out to everyone in the group. So, how did you find out?" Rebecca fidgeted uncomfortably. I have my ways," she murmured evasively. "I have my sources, people who talk to people who—" Her voice trailed off. "Oh, would you stop fucking lying?" Michelle slammed the table again. "As far as I'm concerned, you have no friends without this group. It's not like TMZ was at Cara's party. Where did you hear it from?" Rebecca opened her mouth and then closed it again. Her eyes darted to the side, searching for an exit that didn't exist. She started, voice cracking. I heard it from Don, I swear. Michelle leaned in, eyes blazing. Bullshit. Don wasn't invited. We don't talk to him outside of work because we've learned to keep our personal and work lives separate. So unless he's got a crystal ball or a drone flying over the backyard, you're lying. Again. Rebecca's voice rose, defensive and shaky. He talks to Marnie. She told him and he told me. That's it. That's how I found out. Michelle scoffed, arms crossed. Come on, Rebecca, use your fucking brain. Marnie's in rehab. She's not exactly plugged into the social calendar. And even if she did know, why the hell would she tell you? You two haven't been tight since the birthday party disaster. Rebecca's shoulders slumped. I don't know, okay? Maybe she just wanted me to show up. Maybe she thought it would help me reconnect. Michelle's voice dropped, cold and final. Help you reconnect? You showed up drunk, threw wine, slapped Liz, and mocked her marriage. That's not reconnecting. She grabbed her phone, typing something fast. Cara's gonna want to know you're still lying. And when she finds out, don't expect another chance. You are on thin fucking ice, Rebecca, and it's cracking. Rebecca knew she had been caught red-handed, and there was no denying the truth any longer. I was just driving around, okay? I didn't have anywhere to be. I wasn't invited to anything. I was circling the neighborhood, just trying to clear my head. She paused, eyes flickering up to Michelle's face. And then I saw it. The white dresses, the lights. I heard the loud music. I saw the people in Cara's yard, and I don't know. I panicked. I pulled into the driveway. I didn't think. I wanted to feel like I was a part of something again. Michelle's eyes widened, her jaw slack for half a second before she slammed her palm against the table again, rattling the silverware. Are you fucking serious right now? She hissed. You were driving around like some creep and just pulled into Cara's driveway because you saw balloons and white dresses? What the actual fuck, Rebecca? Rebecca shrank back slightly, but Michelle wasn't done. You didn't get an invite. You weren't on the list. And instead of taking the hint, you stalked the neighborhood like a lost puppy hoping someone would throw you a bone? You didn't just crash a party. You invaded a private space. And then you had the audacity to throw wine and start swinging like it was a goddamn reality show? Rebecca opened her mouth, but Michelle cut her off. No, I don't want to hear it. You knew exactly what you were doing. You saw the setup, saw the vibe, and thought, let me go fuck this up because I'm not the center of attention. That's not a mistake. That's a selfish, reckless, pathetic choice. She grabbed her phone, typing fast. Cara's gonna lose her shit when she hears this, and honestly, I hope she does. Because you don't deserve a soft landing after what you pulled. You deserve the fallout. Rebecca murmured, her voice small and defeated. I know I was wrong, okay? I was selfish and stupid. I just wanted to feel included, for once. It's been so damn lonely lately. Michelle pushed her phone into the middle of the table, showing Rebecca a text from Cara. Well, Cara's on her way. You better show her some grace. Once she hears about this, she's not going to have an ounce of sympathy left for your loneliness. Rebecca read the text on the screen. Cara was on her way, and there was no doubt in her mind that the conversation would be anything short of confrontational. Yeah, I understand, she murmured. I deserve every bit of her wrath. Michelle sighed loudly. And if you think you're going to charm your way out of this, think again. Cara's not in the mood for tears or theatrics. She's coming for answers. Real ones. Rebecca's hands trembled slightly as she reached for her water glass, trying to steady herself. I'll talk to her. I'll own it. I swear. Michelle leaned in, voice sharp. You better, because once she walks through that door, it's not just about you anymore. It's about every time she gave you grace and you threw it back in her face. She scoffed. Oh, and you know what else? Let's invite Liz too. She'll find the perfect way to humiliate you. Rebecca felt like her world was collapsing in on her. Every sharp word from Michelle was a brutal punch to the gut, and the mention of adding Liz to the mix was the icing on the cake. Please no, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Not her. I can handle Cara, but I can't face Liz too. Michelle narrowed her eyes, her voice dropping into a low, venom-laced whisper. Oh, now you're scared, she said, leaning in. You were all, I'll own it, I'll apologize, I deserve the wrath, 2 minutes ago. But the second Liz's name comes up, you fold like a fucking napkin. Rebecca tried to shout over Michelle's response, but Michelle cut her off. You weren't scared when you said, hit me again, baby. You weren't scared when you dragged her husband into it. So don't act fragile because Liz might say something that hurts your feelings. You want to be forgiven? Then you face the people you hurt. She grabs her phone again, thumbs flying. You better brace yourself, because if Cara doesn't rip you apart, Liz will finish the job. Rebecca clenched her jaw, fighting back tears. She hated how Michelle was right. She hated how everything she'd done was being laid bare, exposing her selfish actions and careless words. But what terrified her the most was the thought of facing Liz. The memory of slapping her, the cruel taunts about her marriage, none of it was something she could take back. I know, she forced out, her voice thick with regret. I know I was a monster, but I don't know if I can handle seeing Liz right now. The cafe door opened with a soft chime and Cara stepped in. She spotted Michelle and walked over without hesitation. Hi, she said simply, offering Michelle a brief hug and a polite air kiss. Michelle stood to greet her, returning the gesture with quiet warmth. Thanks for coming. I'm glad you're here, Michelle murmured. Cara nodded, then slid into the seat beside her. She didn't look at Rebecca, not once. Rebecca sat frozen. The silence around her felt suffocating. Michelle leaned in slightly. She says she wants to talk, to own it. Cara's gaze flickered toward Rebecca, brief, unreadable, then back to Michelle. We'll see. She turned her attention to the menu, calm and composed as if Rebecca weren't even there. Rebecca swallowed hard, the weight of the moment pressing into her chest like a brick. Cara didn't blink. You threw wine on my dress. You slapped Liz. You turned a private night into a fucking spectacle. And now you're just sitting here. What, hoping I'll say it's okay? That I'll hug it out and pretend it didn't happen? Rebecca opened her mouth, but Cara held up a hand. Don't. I'm not here for your excuses. I'm here because Michelle asked me to be. But let's be clear. I don't owe you anything. Not a conversation, not forgiveness, not even eye contact. She leaned in slightly, voice dropping. You want to fix this? Then you start by understanding that you broke something that might not be repairable. And if you ever show up in my space again without an invitation, I won't be the one confronting you. Now, let's hear it. And make it count, because this is the last time I'm giving you the floor. Rebecca's frustration began to bubble over, and her words poured out in a flurry of raw, unfiltered feelings. Cara, I'm so sorry for what I did at your party. It truly wasn't my intention. I was just driving in the neighborhood trying to take my mind off the way I was feeling with Marnie gone. Loneliness. And on top of that, I have no friends outside of our group. I wanted to feel like I was a part of something, and without an invite, the only way I could do that was by crashing one of yours. But you know what? She exclaimed. I was tired. Tired of always being the one to play nice. Tired of trying to be the sweet, innocent girl who never steps out of line. And when I had a chance to let go and be myself for once, I took it. Maybe that makes me a bad person, but at least I'm honest about who I am. Cara listened with her jaw set, her face betraying no emotion other than irritation. She remained quiet for a beat, letting Rebecca's words hang in the air. Then she leaned in, fixing Rebecca a hard stare. So, because you were feeling sorry for yourself and couldn't handle being alone, you thought it'd be a great idea to crash my party and cause a scene? Brilliant logic there, Rebecca. Michelle shot a cold stare at Rebecca without blinking. Yeah, brilliant logic for the girl who claims she's got a psychology degree. Very nice. Michelle clapped softly. Cara nodded in agreement with Michelle, her eyes still locked on Rebecca. Yes, because crashing a private event is a fantastic way to address your loneliness. I'm sure that made you feel extra special and loved. Cara's sarcasm was biting and her voice dripped with disdain. Michelle leaned in. Oh, and let's not forget the best part, the way you decided to humiliate Liz in front of everyone. Nothing says I'm feeling lonely and need attention quite like making a mockery of someone's marriage at a party. Cara nodded, her gaze still fixed on Rebecca. It's almost impressive, really. You managed to offend and alienate pretty much everyone in the span of what, an hour? But let's give you credit for being honest about who you are, Cara added, her voice dripping with mocking sincerity. Because being honest makes everything okay, right? Michelle chuckled darkly. Yeah, let's forget about basic decency and respect. Who needs good manners when you can just be your unfiltered, unapologetic self, Rebecca? As Cara and Michelle's barrage of insults continued, Rebecca's mind began to wander. She retreated deeper into her thoughts, trying to detach herself from the harsh words that were being thrown at her. Despite her attempts to ignore them, Cara and Michelle persisted with their taunts, not giving her a chance to defend herself. What's the matter, Rebecca? Cara snickered. Not used to being called out on your bullshit? Or maybe you just can't handle the truth, Michelle chimed in. You've always been good at dishing it out, but what happened to that thick skin you always bragged about? Rebecca couldn't form words. She couldn't speak to defend herself. She just sat there, wishing that she could forget about everything that happened. She thought about the beginning of her friendship with the girls, how it all started, the intervention, becoming closer with them during Cara's events, how she tried to prove that she was better than everyone because of her stupid psychology degree, and how it all came crashing down on her just because of one mistake that they couldn't forget about. She stood up from the table and made her way to the door. She opened the door to the cafe and stood outside for a few moments, taking advantage of the silence and the space outside, alone. Michelle and Cara looked at one another and then dropped their smirks. I think we did a pretty good job at scaring her off, Michelle whispered. Cara looked down at her coffee and then back up at Michelle. This isn't me, Michelle. I don't bully people. I don't taunt people until they can't speak anymore. I don't confront people like this. I didn't come here to confront her in a way that makes her feel scared. We need to fix this. Oh, come on, Cara. It's all in good fun. I wasn't doing it to make her feel worthless, she paused. But Michelle, maybe we need to look at this from another angle. Try to imagine how this feels from her side. If I were in her position, I don't know if I'd stick around either. It's a lot. And yeah, she messed up. But I'm a good friend, and I believe people can come back from mistakes. I'm willing to give her a third chance, if she shows she's ready to earn it. Michelle rolled her eyes at Cara's thought. Oh, there it is, your whole let's fix everything routine. Always ready to hand out second, third, fourth chances like it's nothing. I'm not even sure she'd take it, not after what I said. Honestly, she probably doesn't trust me anymore. I'm sorry I'm a good friend, Cara spoke under her breath. I just don't like hurting people when they're already down. Cara stared out the window of the cafe for a brief moment, looking at Rebecca sitting on a bench. Poor Rebecca, she sighed, drumming her hand on the table. Poor Rebecca? Are you kidding me, Cara? Do you know how long it took to get her to confess for what she did at the party? It was like pulling fucking teeth to get her to tell the truth. I don't regret anything I said. She deserved to hear it, Michelle shouted. Michelle and Cara sat in silence for a few moments. Cara considered Michelle's thoughts, but said nothing in response. Instead, they waited to see if Rebecca would come back inside to face them. A few moments later, Liz showed up. She sat at the table across from Michelle on the other side. Hello, ladies, Liz says, allowing her eyes to do the talking. So, where is that little rat? Outside, alone, stewing in anger, Michelle pointed outside. Oh, guess words sting when they finally land, Liz chuckled. It's not funny, Liz, Cara gave her a stern look. We may have insulted and harassed her, but she didn't deserve it. She just needed to hear the truth. Yeah, and not in a very nice way, Michelle added. Well, she better come in here and apologize. I got shit to do today, and I'm not exactly on Rebecca's clock, Liz said, fiddling with the menu. I don't think that's going to happen. We came at her like a pack of mean girls. She's not going to be very forgiving, Cara shrugged. The girls sat there for a moment, trying to figure out who should go out and talk to Rebecca. Well, Michelle cleared her throat. I really could use a cigarette. I guess I'll head outside and see if she wants to come back in. Hopefully she hasn't called an Uber or anything to make a quick escape, Michelle suggested. Yeah, you go do that, Liz nodded forcefully. That would be helpful. I mean, I didn't come all this way for nothing. Okay, you gotta take your attitude down a notch. Also, you live 10 minutes away. It's not like you live in the middle of nowhere, Cara shook her head. Michelle slipped out of the door and walked towards a bench where Rebecca was sitting. Rebecca rubbed her eyes and noticed a figure in the distance. Michelle stood away from a distance to light her cigarette. She began to walk closer and sit down where Rebecca was. Hey, Michelle finally said, not knowing how to start this conversation. Rebecca sat there, still refusing to make eye contact with Michelle. She hugged her legs tightly to her chest, burying her face in her knees. When Michelle sat down next to her, she couldn't help but feel a little annoyed. What? You come to rub it in some more? Michelle shook her head, feeling a bit of guilt welling inside of her. No, I'm not here to rub it in. I came out here to talk to you. Listen, I know I said some harsh things back there, but you have to understand how all of us felt about the situation. Rebecca scoffed, still not looking up at Michelle. Yeah, I bet it felt great to put me in my place like that. Did you enjoy watching me sit there, unable to speak? Did you enjoy watching me feel powerless as you all took turns taunting and insulting me? Don't act like you're here to have a friendly conversation. Michelle could hear the hurt in Rebecca's voice, and she felt a wave of sympathy for her friend. She took a few more puffs of her cigarette before responding. Look, I'm not gonna lie, it did feel good to finally call you out on your crap. But that doesn't mean I enjoyed watching you squirm like that. You were just sitting there, looking like a lost puppy. That's exactly how I've been feeling, Michelle, like a lost puppy. And it feels like I've tried everything to get you to forgive me for what happened. You both pushed me so far that I've given up. Do what you want with that information, 'cause I'm done, Rebecca sighed, her voice lowering to a hushed tone. Michelle took in a sharp breath, shocked at how defeated Rebecca sounded. She turned to look over at her, finally catching a glimpse of her face. Her eyes were red and puffy from crying, and her usual confident demeanor was gone. Michelle felt a ping of guilt pierce her chest. Wait, what do you mean you've given up? I mean, I'm done trying to make you guys happy. I'm tired of trying to please you. All I've done is try to make up for my mistake, and it's not enough. I screwed up, and I'm sorry, but I can't keep trying if you're just going to keep punishing me for it, Rebecca sniffled, trying to hold back new tears. Michelle, seeing the desperation in Rebecca's eyes, softened her demeanor a bit. Listen, maybe we've been too harsh on you. Yes, you messed up, but it's not like you're a bad person. You made a mistake, and you're trying to make things right, but you need to own up to it instead of running away. Come inside with me and apologize. Rebecca sighed, still feeling reluctant but also wanting to get this over with. Okay, fine. I'll come inside and apologize, but I'm not promising that it's going to change anything. Michelle finished off her cigarette and stood up from the bench, signaling for Rebecca to follow her back into the cafe. Rebecca stood up, rubbing the tears from her face and taking a deep breath. She followed Michelle back into the cafe, feeling a mix of anxiety and resignation as they approached the table where Cara and Liz were waiting. The girls looked up rapidly as Michelle and Rebecca returned, their expressions a mix of curiosity and wariness. Well, 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 look who decided to finally grace us with her presence, Liz smirked. Liz, Cara whispered, slapping her hand, drop the attitude. Yes, Rebecca responded, sitting down. I came back to apologize, and if you're not willing to accept my apology, I will leave. Rebecca cleared her throat before either Cara or Michelle could speak. She closed her eyes for a moment, then exhaled slowly, steadying herself. I need to apologize, she began, voice low but clear. Cara, I never meant to show up at your party uninvited. Like I told Michelle, I was just driving around the neighborhood trying to clear my head. Marnie being gone has hit me harder than I expected. When I heard the music and laughter coming from your backyard, I acted on impulse. I crashed the party because I wanted to feel something again. I wanted to feel included. She glanced at Cara, then looked down again. After your birthday party, I did a lot of reflecting. At the wine tasting, when I mentioned therapy, while Marnie's at the center, I meant it. I've been learning, growing, trying to understand myself better. And when I walked away from the confrontation earlier today, it wasn't because I couldn't handle it. I just needed a moment to breathe, to think. That's something to teach you in therapy. Step back before you react. Rebecca paused, letting out another breath before turning toward Liz. Liz, I owe you the biggest apology of all. What happened at the white party was inexcusable. I disrespected you and your marriage, and I still fully don't understand why I did it. Throwing wine at Cara wasn't planned. Slapping you was a split-second decision I regretted the moment it happened. And when you slapped me back, I deserved it. Every bit of it. Her voice softened. I shouldn't have mocked your situation. I know you're going through a lot, and I made it worse. I'm sorry. Truly. She sat back, eyes glassy, waiting for whatever came next. The three girls were stunned to hear Rebecca's genuine apology. They sat in silence for a few moments, reflecting on what has happened. Cara nodded slowly, taking a moment to gather her thoughts before speaking. Rebecca, I appreciate your apology, she said softly. It takes a lot of courage to acknowledge your mistakes and to take responsibility for your actions. I know you've been going through a lot, and I want to believe that you're genuinely remorseful. Liz nodded, her expression softening a bit. Yeah, your apology sounded sincere. But remember, actions speak louder than words. If you really mean it, you need to prove it. Rebecca nodded, understanding the weight of Liz's words. You're right, Liz. Actions speak louder than words. I'll do what I can to prove that I'm serious about changing. Cara nodded slowly again, still a hint of skepticism in her expression. All right, we're willing to give you another chance, but we want to see real effort. No more excuses, no more empty promises. Michelle leaned forward, joining the conversation. That's right. If you want us to forgive and trust you again, you're going to have to be honest with us about everything. No more secrets, no more lies. Rebecca took a deep breath, knowing that she had a lot of work ahead of her. She nodded in agreement, determined to prove herself. I understand. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to earn your trust back. Cara sighed, gathering her thoughts. As far as events and parties go for the next 6 months, you will not be welcome. Rebecca took a deep breath, taking in the harsh condition. 6 months? That's a lot, but I understand. I won't argue. Liz leaned in, her eyes narrowing. And one more thing. No more surprise confrontations or outbursts. If you have an issue with any of us, we deal with it like adults. Rebecca nodded, her gaze dropping to the table. Understood. No more outbursts or surprises. We'll talk things out like civilized people. Cara watched her carefully, still skeptical but somewhat convinced by Rebecca's sincere response. Good. We hope you keep your word. Liz folded her arms, her expression unwavering. And please, don't make us regret giving you another chance. We won't tolerate any more crap from you. Rebecca shifted in her seat, fingers twisting together. There's something else I need to say, she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. The girls turned towards her, quiet, waiting. Cara raised an eyebrow. Go on. Rebecca swallowed hard. I've been taking Xanax. It's prescribed, but I've been relying on it more than I should. It started after Marnie left. I didn't know how to deal with the silence, the anxiety. I just wanted you to know. A beat of stunned silence followed. Cara's expression softened with concern. You've been on Xanax? She asked gently. For how long? Rebecca nodded slowly, eyes downcast. A few months now. My doctor gave it to me to help me sleep, but I've been taking it more often. Sometimes twice the dose. I didn't mean for it to get this bad. Liz's brow furrowed. How often are we talking? 3 times a week, Rebecca admitted, eyes fixed on the table. Liz blinked. 3 times? That's not nothing, Rebecca. You know that's risky, right? Cara's voice dropped. How long has this been going on? Rebecca exhaled shakily. Since last summer. I know it's not healthy. I needed something to quiet everything down. I'm not proud of it. Cara's eyes welled up. Rebecca, that's dangerous. You could overdose. Rebecca sniffled. And if I did, maybe I'll end up like Marnie. Not gone, but somewhere safe. Somewhere quiet. Rehab. The girls exchanged glances, the weight of her words settling over the table. Cara reached out, placing a hand on Rebecca's arm. You need help, she said softly. Rebecca nodded, tears slipping down her cheek. I know. I'm starting to see that. I can't keep doing this. I want to get better. Liz leaned forward. Can you promise us that you're being honest? No more hiding. Rebecca met her gaze, hesitant but firm. I promise. Good, Liz said, because you've been off lately, angry, distant. It's been hard to watch. Cara nodded. We've all been worried. You haven't felt like you. Xanax will do that, Michelle added quietly. Rebecca nodded again. It's been numbing everything. I thought it was helping, but it's just made things worse. The table fell silent. Cara leaned in. You need to stop. No more self-medicating. You need to find better ways to cope. Michelle added. We don't want to lose you. Not like we lost Marnie or Cris. Rebecca's voice cracked. I understand now. I don't want to go down that road. I'll do whatever it takes to stop. I want to feel like myself again. The girls exchanged relieved glances. Cara squeezed her arm gently. We're here for you. You're not alone. Michelle nodded. But you have to stay committed. It's not going to be easy. Rebecca wiped her face and nodded. I will. I promise. Thank you for not giving up on me. Cara cleared her throat. And about the event ban, I didn't know you were going through all this. You are welcome at my house, at my events. But I need you to show up for real. If you're struggling, reach out. Don't disappear. Rebecca's eyes filled again, but this time with gratitude. Thank you, she whispered. I'll take you up on that. Michelle leaned in. We care about you. We want to see you get better. Cara folded her hands. And you're all invited to my costume party next Saturday. Let's make it unforgettable. Rebecca blinked. You're really inviting me? After everything? Cara nodded. Absolutely. No questions asked. Rebecca grinned. Challenge accepted. I'm already brainstorming ideas. The girls realized that despite their occasional conflicts and stubbornness, their bond as a group was unbreakable, and together they had the power to make any party an unforgettable experience.